And I'm going to go ahead and pin myself so that I can at least show, show the stuff. Okay, so welcome to part one of the Buche de Noel making party. So I started doing this because I married a Frenchman and I thought that we needed to have a French tradition. And it turned out that the kids just love decorating this cake so much. It's so much fun to decorate. It's almost more fun to decorate than eat. And this is going to be the first year in a long time that we have not had little fingers in all the decorations. So I might actually get to have like sort of a pretty cake this time instead of one that is just like basically iced a second time with marzipan figures. But anyway, so tonight we're making the filling, which is pretty easy to do. And I'm just going to give a little tour. Hopefully I can show. I've got my laptop here because I couldn't hold my phone and do this. So you're going to need, not right away, but you're going to need a food processor, little bowl that you're going to have to put a lid on at some point. You need sugar, flour, you need a measuring cup, tablespoon, teaspoon, and quarter teaspoon cups. You're going to need 6 tablespoons of butter at room temperature, preferably. You're going to need some marzipan, some almond milk, some vanilla, and whole milk. Not very much. So hopefully you have all those things. And if you don't, well, then
you meant almond extract, not almond milk,
extract,
right?
not almond milk. No. And then you're also going to need to have you're going to need to have a little 3-quart saucepan. A regular one will do. It doesn't have to be like a really, really heavy one. And a whisk. And then, of course, you're going to want to have some kind of dish towel on hand because it can get a little messy. And your libation of choice. So I have my Chautauqua Opera cup tonight, glass tonight. All right, so the first thing you need is 2/3 cup of milk. Oh, I forgot eggs. You need 2 eggs, and you need a bowl for those because you're going to separate them. Like I said, I've been cooking all day, so we have egg whites all ready to go. So that's what my husband is eating for breakfast tomorrow, egg whites. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the 2/3 cup of whole milk, measure up your 2/3 cup of whole milk. And that is going to go into your saucepan. And you're going to warm it. And you don't, I would do it on like medium low heat. You don't have to stand there and stir it, but you do want to watch it because you don't really want it to boil. You don't really want it to, you don't want it to form a skin or anything like that. So, just keep an eye on it while you're doing other things. And then while that is getting going, then get your bowl and you're going to crack the eggs. You're going to do the yolks into the bowl that you're going to mix in. So get a smaller bowl to put your egg whites in or a different bowl. And then just separate those out. And I dumped mine into the egg whites straight away, but since this isn't really it's not going to kill you if you get some egg white in there.
Sorry, was it 2 eggs or 3 eggs?
2.
2 eggs, sorry. I keep asking you questions.
No worries. No worries at all. And don't forget to check on your milk every once in a while. I was multitasking earlier today, and thank goodness Eric was in the kitchen because I almost let the custard for the hazelnut gelato go wild. Okay, so then you have your your 2 eggs, and then you're going to add your 2 tablespoons of sugar to that. Just double check. Yes, 2 tablespoons of sugar.
Shit. Well, there went a yolk.
It's really not a big deal. This is not like whipping the egg whites. So if you're planning to whip the egg whites, then yeah, that would be a problem. But it's not going to be a problem if you have a little bit of yolk in there. You're basically going to be making a custard.
Oh, wait, we want the whites in the mixing bowl and the yolks in the other bowl.
No, you want the yolks in the mixing bowl and the whites. It's the yolks that we want, not the whites.
Okay, cool.
We're reserving those whites. Hi, Terry.
Cool. Okay, I'm set with that. And then you said 2 tablespoons of sugar?
2 tablespoons of sugar.
I gotta get the egg off my hand first.
Do you like to separate them in your hands?
No, but when I broke a yolk, I had an explosion. So the egg was weird. Okay.
I just ask because some people like to really get separate them in their hands, and I find it kind of messy. But so just stir the yolks and the egg white.
And this is just regular sugar, right? Granulated sugar.
Regular old granulated sugar.
And we're whisking, right?
And we're whisking, yeah.
I hear you whisking.
Or just stirring with a fork, that's fine.
And watching our milk.
And watching our milk. And I lied, we are going to get it to boil. Give it a little stir every once in a while. Okay, so then you're going to add the flour to that same mixture. This is 3 tablespoons of flour, and this is going in your egg yolk mixture.
And can I ask, the butter that I'm bringing to room temperature, which is not going to be at room temperature for a while, is it unsalted or salted?
I usually use unsalted for baking, but I think it matters tremendously. And you won't need it for a while yet because all of this has to cool a bit. So you're putting in your 3 tablespoons of flour.
Okay. Almost there.
And then you're just going to stir that in. And just make sure you get the flour really stirred in well. Checking on that milk. Giving it a little stir. We're just going to bring it to a boil. Okay. So trying. So now, when we have that all combined, we just have to wait for that milk to come to a boil. I'm going to move over there to it because the next thing that's going to happen once that milk is ready is that we're going to gently pour the milk to the egg mixture. And then we'll really have some fun.
Sorry about my barking dog.
Oh, I want to see your doggy.
Let's see.
Maybe
while we're waiting for the milk to boil.
Yeah, we'll have it.
Peanut. Come here. Come here. Let me see. Okay, let me just flip. Let me flip. I don't even know how to flip. Oh, here we go. There's Peanut.
Hi, Peanut. Cutie patootie.
Casper's over saying hi. She's very little.
Hi, puppy.
She's 7 pounds.
Oh, look at her.
Oh, and Pogo, the 3-legged Chihuahua, is also here.
Sweetness. Hi, baby.
Okay, now I gotta go wash my hands. Okay.
Terry has kitties named Count Almaviva and Dr. Bartolo.
Oh, those are perfect names. Oh, I'm really close to a boil. Really close.
Me too. Mine's going. It's foaming up.
I'm going to turn it up just a little bit, get there sooner. So then we pour it in the bowl?
Well, yeah, when it boils, I wouldn't pour it in all at once. I would, because the eggs will cook. So what you
Right.
want to do, and I would, if you've been using something other than the whisk, I would switch the whisk at this point. And fine, it's not quite boiling yet. But
Yeah,
then
mine's real close.
you're gonna drizzle that milk in and
Stir, stir,
combine it
stir, stir, stir.
while you whisk, and combine it.
Okay.
And then we just are gonna after that we're going to put it back in the saucepan. So just prepared.
Oh, okay.
So mine's boiling now.
I'll watch you while I
Pour it
wait
in.
for mine.
See if I can get that in there. So it's not very much, and I'm just gonna start drizzling. Just kind of a thin stream. Tempering, as they call it. That's the fancy word for it. There we go. Just get it till it's all nice and combined. Okay. And then we are going to put it back in the saucepan. As soon as you've done that, you're going to put it back over medium heat in the saucepan.
Okay. I'm still waiting on boil.
You still haven't gotten a boil?
No, not quite. It's like real close, but
Okay, be patient.
this will give people a chance to catch up.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people missed that I was doing this tonight, and maybe, so I'm going to post the video.
So hi, everybody.
It's just you, me, and Terry is silent for the moment. Terry, why are you so silent? Say hello.
Probably has her mic off.
Maybe. Well, that just means we can talk trash about Terry, and she can't respond to it.
I don't know, Terry. Hi, Terry. I'm not going to talk trash about you.
Terry and I have not met, but I just know her from online. She's very funny. She's a great.
Oh, wait.
She's here.
Hey.
I forgot how to unmute it.
Ah.
I'm back.
Okay, I just want to tell you how little time it takes for this to happen. So I have been, look at this, Cynthia. I've been cooking it over medium heat, and it's already turned into very thick. It doesn't take very long at all. It gets really
so it's
thick,
almost like
really
a roux.
It does look, it is sort of a roux. It's more of a roux than it is a custard because it's meant to be thick like this. So don't freak out because it's thick. You're going to add stuff to it later, but
I think I have a tiny boil, like tiny bubble boil. Do I need to get big bubble boil?
I would make sure it boils all the way.
Okay, it's just starting to foam up a little bit.
When it kind of foams over, I think you can go.
Okay.
I should have waited for you. But
that's all right. I saw what you did.
The next step is that I'm just transferring this into a food processor. So you're going to want to do that as well. And because it's I basically have to tap the twist to get it all out, and then I promise you have clean hands.
You just want a regular blade in the food processor or something else?
Just a regular old blade. I'm using my little Black & Decker food processor that I've had since graduate school. It's
very cute.
It is one of my favorite kitchen appliances.
I leave for 1 second and I get a skin. Damn it.
That's okay. Just skim it off and that'll be fine.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
So I'm at the drizzle part now.
Okay, yep. Drizzle and whisk.
Drizzling. Drizzle, drizzle, drizzle. Drizzling and whisking, drizzling and whisking.
So, Cindy, could I use an immersion blender or a regular blender instead of a food processor?
I think you could. I have never done it that way, but I don't know why it wouldn't work. However, and I think in that case, it would be okay for you to leave it in the pot. But the thing is, we want this to cool and come to room temperature. So you might want to transfer it into a bowl or something after you've cooked it.
Okay.
So that it will cool faster. And you just so you know, you don't have to.
That makes sense.
You don't have to wait so long to get on with the next part. I'm always impatient. Honestly, I usually
So
do this
you said
all in one
medium
day.
heat, correct?
Huh? Yeah, medium heat, and you're going
You
to
said,
put it back all at once you poured the milk in,
and
and
drizzled.
you're
Yeah.
going to put it back on medium heat, and you're going to stir it with your whisk constantly, and it will
Okay.
thicken up really quick.
Okay.
So yeah,
All
Terry,
right.
I usually make the whole thing in one day. I usually don't do the filling like overnight, but
Uh-huh.
I was doing a lot of cooking today, so and I
No,
have
that
a lot
makes
of cooking to
sense.
do tomorrow. So the COVID thing with getting the groceries that you need, it's sort of a guessing game. You never know if you're going to get everything you need. I am short on whipped cream,
Exactly.
which is a tragedy in the
I have a
making.
plethora of whipped cream.
I know
Do you
I
have a
had to go
Costco
make the
near you?
Trader Joe's people hunt for it.
If worse comes to worse, I will drive and go into the grocery store. But we've been having all our groceries delivered. I haven't been in
Right.
a grocery store since last March.
Costco has not been short on whipped cream.
Ah, good to know. Well, maybe I could get some from Sam's
Okay.
Club.
Okay. This is turning into kind of it's thickening really fast, but it looks sort of lumpy. Is that
Well,
okay?
I would take it if it's really thick. You saw how thick mine is. If you look,
Yeah, yours is
it almost
thick.
looks like
I
butter.
think mine is done.
So I would take it off and
Yeah.
just continue to whip it a little bit, maybe to, also you're going to be processing it more.
Right.
So hopefully any lumps will
Okay.
come out.
Now it's like mashed potatoes.
Yeah, that's kind of
Mashed
the
potatoes is what I'm looking
consistency.
for.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
Okay.
It's not super pretty.
And it's going.
So,
Ew. Sorry, there's something here that was, I think, in my bowl here. Ew.
yeah.
I don't know
So
what
this
that
is what it
was.
looks like. Really, really yellow,
Something that didn't
thick
belong there.
mashed potatoes.
Mine looks like a lot less than yours. No, maybe not. Okay. It's all stuck inside my whisk is the problem.
Well, yeah. So, you basically have to pound your whisk, shake your whisk out.
Yeah.
And then I would
Yep.
also get a spatula. I have these nice little ones that are really good for getting in between, and you can get it all
Yeah.
out of your. And you're not going to need those things anymore either. So if you would like, I recommend filling them with water right away so they don't get caked on.
Right. They'll turn to concrete, I can tell. Do. Shut up, dog. Sorry. I'm gonna go mute because my dog's loud.
It's okay. Remember, I had dachshunds for 16 years. I'm used to yappy little dogs. They don't bother me. Plus, I also at one time had a Chihuahua. So, okay. So, just for those of you who may be watching from home, or who will be watching this later, so we finished with the custard or roux part of the filling, and now it has to come to room temperature. So, or at least it needs to cool. So you can cheat if you want, and I think I'm actually going to cheat a little bit. It says in the recipe that it takes an hour to come to room temperature, and I'm not sure we want to wait that long. So I think I'm going to go ahead and stick it in the fridge and hopefully let it cool down a little bit. Hopefully it'll cool down a little bit faster. And I'm not going to cover it either because it will cool faster if it's not covered. So I'm just going to stick it in the fridge just like that. And then when Cynthia is caught up, I'm going to move to the next section, which is, there's not a whole lot to do, but I'm going to just go ahead and talk you through what happens next. So, got yours all done?
Almost there. You can go ahead. I'm just
No
getting it in the
worries, no
fridge.
worries. So while we wait for that to cool down, you can prepare the next steps, and there's not a whole lot of preparation to do. It's basically take your butter. You're going to want to cut it into 6 tablespoons worth, because you're going to add it when you go back to add it into that mixture that we just put in the fridge. You're going to add it a tablespoon at a time. So, it doesn't have to be precise. Just, basically you're going
How
to
many
do
tablespoons again?
6 tablespoons of butter.
6. Okay. I get my handy dandy knife.
Like I said, it does not need to be very precise. They just don't want you throwing in all the butter at once. And Terry, I think if your emulsion blender is strong enough, I think that would work fine. A hand blender would probably work. I would not use like a Vitamix or something like that, because you would lose too much of the icing in there. It would be, or the filling.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It would just be such a nightmare to clean. So I love my Vitamix, but not for that. So we're cutting up the butter, and then you're actually probably better off if it's not at room temperature when you cut it. And then you're going to get your marzipan. So this is the kind I usually get. It's just what the local HEB has.
That's what mine had.
If you don't have this, you can also just use almond paste. It's the same thing. It just doesn't have as much sugar in it. So you absolutely, and if you find that this is too sweet for your taste, next time you can try it with almond paste, because it does have less sugar. So now for that, so you need half a cup. So 4 ounces. And so in this case, I like to weigh it because there's not any measurement to cut.
So 4 ounces by weight, not volume?
It doesn't say, but it says half a cup cut into 1/4-inch pieces.
Okay.
I am just going to go ahead and measure
Okay.
it. Again, this is not a measurement. This isn't baking per se. It doesn't have to be super, super precise.
Got
You
it.
can certainly get away with a little more, a little less.
I've gotten in trouble with bread doing that, so I always like make sure.
So I think if you cut this is 8 ounces. So if you cut it, or actually it's 7 ounces. If you cut it a little less than half, you're going to have it.
And you want it in slices like the butter?
Yeah, you're going to cut it into little slices. And I would cut smaller slices because it's so dense and sticky. And then the other thing you're going to want to do with the piece that you're not using right away, marzipan dries out really quickly. So whatever you're not going to be using right now, put in a plastic bag and reserve it for when you do the decorations.
Is it go in the fridge or no?
No. It depends. If you're going to decorate it later today, I would not put it in the fridge. But if you're going to decorate tomorrow, what does it say? It says to refrigerate it. So what I would say for that is you're going to want to bring it to room temperature. It's basically really, really sticky edible Play-Doh.
I've never used it before.
It's super sticky, and you're going to want to. And I have found that the only way to really mix the color in is to do it with my hands. It's hard to do. Yeah, so it's a bit of a messy process. That's why the kids love it. So yeah, then just tear your marzipan in little pieces. You don't even have to be terribly precise with that. What are you listening to?
Oh, I forgot it was on. It's my local classical station.
Oh, nice. So and Cindy, Terry is quite an amazing cook. herself. She's always posting these fabulous recipes. And
I am not a great cook. I'm an okay baker. But I feel comfortable baking, but cooking is like, whew, I'm okay, but I'm not great. Oh, this stuff is sticky.
yeah, it is. Yep. Lots of hand washing in this recipe.
I'm seeking a taste. Oh, it's good.
Yeah, some people, it's sort of a love-hate thing. I've noticed some people really like the taste of it and some people don't like it at all. If you don't like this particular filling, you can fill it with anything. It doesn't have to be a filling like this. You could do cream cheese frosting, you could do regular buttercream, you could do ice cream, you could do, some other frosting filling that you like. So don't feel like you have to be stuck with this one. This is just the one I happen to like.
Yep.
So, and now since we're not going to use that marzipan that you just cut for a little while, then I would go ahead and cover that up with a little plastic too, because it will dry out.
Got it.
You'll get crusty, and you don't want crusty marzipan in your buche.
A buche.
Now, if you want to be like super bougie, you can go ahead and measure out your almond extract and vanilla extract, just so you're all ready to go, and then you can start cleaning up.
And they go in the same bowl?
Yeah, they can go in the same bowl. I'm just pouring mine into this little measuring cup I've been using all day. So it's a teaspoon of vanilla and a quarter teaspoon of almond extract. And normally I up the amounts of flavorings that I put in the thing, but I don't in this because the marzipan already has loads and loads of almond flavor. So the first time out, I'd keep it pretty much, what the recipe says.
So 1 teaspoon and 1/4 teaspoon.
Yeah, 1 teaspoon vanilla, quarter teaspoon of almond.
They can go together in the same little bowl. I feel so Julia Child measuring things into little bowls.
Yeah, I thought about being like really, really obnoxious and like putting everything out ahead of time. And I was like, nah, that's too much even for me. Although sometimes when Eric and I are doing like a lot of really fancy cooking, we will do that just to make sure we have everything and we don't have to be scrambling around looking for it.
I know that feeling.
So everything else, if you're a clean as you go kind of person, you can put stuff away. You're not going to need any of the sugar or the flour again right now.
Got you.
And so now we're just waiting on that that filling that we did to cool. So I'm actually going to check since I stuck it in the fridge and see how it's doing. And you know what? Mine is cool enough. Well, it's a little, I take it back. It's a little warm on the bottom. So.
Mine didn't make it in there as early, so I'm going to give it a little bit longer.
Yeah, and I think what I'm going to do to speed this along is to put it in an ice bath.
Well, that's a good idea. So Terry, where are you that you're listening to opera on your classical radio station?
Columbus, Ohio.
Wonderful.
Listening to WOSU Classical FM.
Awesome. My son's in school in Cincinnati, but he's not there right now.
Oh, University of Cincinnati or Xavier?
No, UC. He's at CCM.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice school.
He loves it.
For the sake of the video, I decided to go ahead and make a little ice bath. So what I did was put some water in a big cereal bowl, which was the right size for my my little food processor. some water and ice in there, and I'm going to rest this in there, making sure that the water doesn't come up and get into the filling. And that should help cool it off on the bottom. The top actually got pretty cool in just about 10 minutes in the fridge. So that's where we are. We're just waiting. That
I'll
looks
put
good,
mine in the
Cynthia.
sink.
It looks good.
Does it look good? Okay, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, that looks right.
It's still barely warm, but not really warm.
I'm going to see how this ice bath does. I'm surprised I didn't think of doing it sooner, because I hate the waiting part.
I'm gonna go get some ice in mine.
So Terry, tell us tell us again what you're cooking for Christmas. I saw your post online, but
I'm doing a salad with pears, blue cheese, candied pecans, and homemade blueberry vinaigrette that I make with white wine vinegar and blueberries, dried
that looks
blueberries.
delicious.
You marinate them overnight. It looks very elegant, but it's a very easy salad. You just serve it over a few mixed greens, and it's very good. And then I'm making beef burgundy, and I was very disappointed that Trader Joe's did not have frozen pearl onions.
How could they
So
not?
they discontinued them.
Oh no!
We don't have those this year. So I have to peel all of the little fresh ones.
Oh. Let me show you something. Well, I don't know if you can see them, but this is one I told Cynthia earlier that I stuck everything in a corner. Beneath all of this, from about here down, are Cipollini onions. Speaking of things that one has to blanch and peel, and they're all tiny ones. Yes. So yeah, we make these balsamic braised Cipollini onions every year, and they're delicious.
Oh, those sound really good.
And they are really good. And the family, it's like one of those things the family's like, you're making the onion thing, right? So, but they're
a lot of
such
onions
a
for a
pain.
bunch of people.
Yeah, well, when we're not having a bunch, it's just the two of us, but it's going to be a luxury this year because there are never any of these left over. So instead of reducing the recipe, as we have for the recipes for just the two of us, we're doing the full batch so that we can have seconds and thirds and maybe even fourths.
That sounds wonderful.
So, yeah, well, yours does too. Okay, so my little water bath in that few minutes that I had it in there has done the trick, and it is now ready to move on. So I recommend that, especially if you're short on time. So what I did is I stuck it in the fridge for about 10 minutes, and then I put it in a water bath because the bottom was still warm. Mm-hmm. And after maybe 5 minutes in the water bath, it's all happy again. So now I am going to. How's yours doing, Cindy?
Come here, baby. Come here. Good boy.
How's your
Sorry, mine was muted. Mine feels like room temperature now.
Okay,
so
great.
I'm good.
Then we can go on. Okay, so I'm putting together my food processor, put it back in the food processor, and this is the fun part now that we're going to start adding in. We're going to blend in just like one of those tablespoons of butter at a time. Actually, I'm sorry, I lied. We're starting with the marzipan. Marzipan first, then butter. So, and you can put in all of the marzipan at once. You don't have to add a little piece at a time. But remember, you've already cut it up into little pieces. So this is about the size I'm using for mine. If you have a bigger, it's at a 1/4 inch piece. I just kind of tore mine into little pieces. So like I said, this particular part of the recipe does not require great precision. So don't worry about it. All right, I'm going to mute because it's going to make a lot of noise when I turn this on. But basically what you're going to do is blend that until it's smooth. So that is the next step. So here we go.
Come here.
Okay, so this is kind of what it looks like. If you can see that. Still looks like mashed potatoes, but it's not completely blended. You may have to do it a few times. You may have to get your little spatula and scrape it down a little bit. I do with mine simply because it's kind of old and it's small and stuff gets caught in the lid. So
It smells so good.
it does smell so good. It's basically, it smells like, what is it, amaretto.
Yeah, it
Which,
does.
come to think of it, would be a lovely addition if you
That
didn't
would.
have to worry about children.
I don't have to. Mine are all grown up.
Yeah,
You
me neither.
are. Yoo-hoo.
But I don't have any amaretto, so it's moot. Okay. So now do we do butter a little bit at a time, or what are we doing?
Just blend it a couple of times until you feel like you've got it smooth. I'm still seeing, so you were talking earlier that you had some lumps in there, Cindy. So this is where I would try to get it out when you put the marzipan in. Just keep blending it a few times until you feel like you've got it. I'm going to do mine one more time. And then I would just, scrape between blendings or processings, whatever we're doing here. Because this doesn't actually make very much, and you don't want very much on the cake. This is not a cake where you want a big, thick bunch of icing in the middle, unless you're, I mean, I'll admit I will eat the icing before the cake every time, but the cake part is very, very light. So what you end up putting on this is going to be a very, very thin layer. So
mine's ready, I think.
Great.
Time for butter?
Time for butter. And we're going to put the butter in. So this is what it looks like when it's all blended up smooth.
Okay, here's mine.
And then we're just going to start. Yeah,
good.
that looks good. So then now we blend 1 tablespoon or 1 portion of butter one at a time and just blend it till it's smooth. So again, I'm going to mute while we do that.
That's a good boy.
Is that kitty purring we're hearing?
Oh yeah, that's the Count Almaviva.
He has a very loud purr.
He is. He's
Or
a
maybe
very
he's
big
just
boy too.
maybe he's just close to the microphone. It's very
Both.
so. I only have one voice student right now, and she has these 2 kitties named Winnie and Black Kitty, and both of them are extremely talkative. But recently, Black Kitty has decided that she really, really loves the singing. I got icing on my computer screen. Got a big blob of icing on my computer screen. All right. Fortunately, it came right off. It was part of the dry part. But anyway, so she showed me this video where the cat now comes up to her on a daily basis and requests that she sing. She makes
Aw.
this very particular little meow, sort of a trill, and kind of cuddles up next to her, and that means you're supposed to sing me to sleep, Mom. And so she sings her a lullaby, and the cat literally lies down, and she puts her head in her hand so she can be scratched, and she trills on the end of every line, like precisely on the end of the line. So, she'll be singing something like, good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Prow. It is the most adorable thing ever.
I feel like I would practice more if I had that.
No kidding. My dogs hated my singing. They used to always howl. Okay, I'm muting again so I can continue with my butter journey.
You didn't mute.
Oh, sorry. Did I deafen you?
No, it really wasn't that loud.
Well, that's good. Well, maybe I'll do it without muting then. And I'm going to show you, see, as you continue to add the butter, it just gets creamier and creamier. So as lumpy and unappetizing looking as it was before, now it's sort of getting into this real sort of puddingy or batter sort of consistency. And it's quite nice. So none of this is very hard. This is really a cake that even somebody who's a beginner could do. But it is a little time consuming just because it takes a while to put everything together and you have to wait for things to cool down and stuff like that. This is my last bit of butter. And there we have it. Continue to scrape down the sides so it's nice. You can see it's just nice and smooth and almost like a cake batter. How are you doing, Cynthia? Have you put all yours in?
Mine is all in, and it looks like banana pudding.
Yep. So the
But it
last
smells
thing,
like almondy.
yeah, the very last thing is to pour in your extracts, your vanilla and your almond that you measured out earlier. You don't have to measure them out earlier. We were just being fancy. And then blend those.
I have to do more scraping too. I got some stuff up here.
Scraping and yapping and yapping and scraping. Yeah. Yeah, so just once you've just got it all nice and smooth like that, you're done. That's it. Now, I am going to store this. I'm just going to cover it with the lid that comes with the food processor, because what I've found is it needs to be, before you can spread it, you're going to want to process it one more time to loosen it up, because it goes in the refrigerator for a minimum of 4 hours, or you can put it in for as long as up to 2 days. I'm just going to do it overnight, and that should be fine. But tomorrow morning, I'm going to take it out when I start the cake baking, so that it will be room temperature when we start to use it. And then I will process it one more time so it won't be stiff. It will still be kind of thick. It's not easy to spread. You're going to want something like this, or if you have an offset spatula, that can work too. If you don't have one of these, you could still, and you don't have anything fancy in your kitchen, you could still use a butter knife. You could use the back of a spoon. You can really use anything. You just be aware that the cake is delicate and the frosting is thick. So when you spread it, if you have something like this, it's just easier to do. So you might want to, if you're going to be with us tomorrow, you might want to look around your kitchen and see what you have that might work for that. So that's it. We just stick that in the fridge and we are done. Cynthia, how does yours look?
Mine looks like this. Let me open it up. I just did, there was a little bit more, let's see. Can you see? It looks really good.
I'm going to pin you so we can see you. Oops.
This is the consistency.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah. It looks really yummy. I want to eat it, but I know it's not healthy.
Well, I mean, you should definitely taste because everybody needs to taste a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, there was some on my finger I did taste. It's really tasty.
It's very almondy. It's not
very
incredibly
almondy.
sweet.
No, I think it's going to be really good.
Most of the sugar comes from the marzipan. Remember, we only put 2 tablespoons of sugar in.
Right.
There will be more sugar in other things. The sweet, and actually, come to think of it, none of it is all that sweet. The cake itself is a jelly roll. It's extremely light. And the ganache, I prefer to use bittersweet rather than semi-sweet chocolate because I find semi-sweet to be too sweet. And I don't like my desserts to be super, super sweet. So this is it's rich and you don't need it to have a lot of sugar because it's got lots and lots of flavor. So, but like I said, if you want to cut down, you could always use almond paste instead of marzipan and use more dark chocolate and maybe you don't have to use the milk chocolate in the ganache. You could just use all bittersweet if you wanted something really dark and it would be less sweet. So there's options for people who are, don't like sweet stuff or controlling their sugar.
So I'm putting this entire thing in the fridge.
Yeah, this is just going to go in the fridge overnight, and then tomorrow we'll take it out when we start baking.
Hopefully I have a place for it.
Yeah, it's the same problem. My brother sent us like an enormous amount of cheese, which is not a problem. Not a problem at all. But it's taking up a whole shelf in our fridge.
Right. I'm going to have to clear out the milk side. Okay. My outdoor fridge used to be my indoor fridge, and it died last Thanksgiving. So, oh God, it's just short. To figure this out.
You could put it in something else, and then.
No, I've got it. There's a little thing that pushes back. So, yay! See, I've got to do.
Yay!
Okay.
So that's it.
So, but it freezes things. So it's out on the back porch and it gets hot. So it overworks and then it freezes things. So I don't want to put anything super important in there.
I hear you.
I mean, there's plenty of room, but it's good for drinks and that's about it.
If only it were a bit cooler here in Texas, we could actually maybe put stuff in a Tupperware on the back porch, but no.
We have done that in years past for our tamalada that we do. But most years it's too warm.
Yeah. We did it one year and my mother wasn't thinking. She put the turkey down, or the Christmas ham down on a table outside, and the golden retriever stole it and ate the whole thing. And we'd already eaten, but she ate the rest of it and she was so sick.
Oh God.
And my mom was so mad at her.
Yeah, they have no off button.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I feel like accomplished.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining me, and Terry, you too. I wish we could see you, but we're happy to have you. And so I'm going to be putting this up on my timeline for people to watch who didn't make it here tonight. And then I will hopefully see you guys at 11 tomorrow morning. But if not, I'm going to record that too. So thanks a lot.
Okay,
see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Ciao.